Hello and welcome to my channel, Inspiring Life Changes. Welcome to those of you who have come across for the first time, and welcome back to those of you who have been here before. My name's Colette and my channel is Inspiring Life Changes, as I just said. And the reading that I'm doing today is for the Leo new moon that is taking place today on the 8th of the 8th, and it is also the Lion Gate activation portal as well, which is a time when our what's known as our spiritual star or our spiritual sun aligns with our sun in our solar system and opens up a portal of energy as they align, as they come together. And it always happens on the 8th of the 8th that the two of them actually align up. And what that does is floods the earth with this higher vibrational energy of light, because Sirius is twice the size of our sun and it is also 26 times brighter. So that is an enormous amount of light that is hitting our planet via our sun as well, because it is actually in alignment with our sun. But today we also have that new moon in Leo energy as well, so it's extra powerful, extra potent. It's affecting 3 of our own personal planets at this time, because Mercury is also conjunct the sun and the moon as well. So if you're interested, I have done the astrology part of this read as well, which is still uploading as I'm speaking. It seems to be taking forever to actually get uploaded, which seems to be a bit of an issue that I have at this time. So it will be getting put out there. If you're wanting to know more about the astrology, my reading will get put up on my channel as soon as it's uploaded and ready. So I just want to say a big thank you to those of you who have come across to find out what it's all about, and big thank you to those of you who share my videos, who like my videos, who have subscribed to my channel. Again, if you haven't, please could you do so, because it does really help. I'm trying to grow this channel. That is my aim at the moment. I have had some technical problems with lighting and things like that, and it kind of put me off for a while, but I am trying to get back into kind of sorting it out and actually keeping the channel going. So like I said, this is a Leo, a new moon energy. So we will start the reading with the Moonology cards for the Leo new moon energy, which is all about confidence and it's all about self-empowerment. And I actually called my astrology reading Awakening to Our Self-Empowerment, because I think that that is really one of the big issues at this time. Our self-empowerment, our creativity, our right to be able to do what we need to do when we need to do it without having to answer to other people, as long of course as we're not doing harm to anybody else in the process. Then we have that right within ourselves to be able to enjoy our lives, really, because that's another thing that the Leo energy is about. It's about pleasure, it's about enjoyment, it's about having fun, playfulness. It's why Leo is ruled by the sun, and also why it is this time of year when we're usually out and about and enjoying life and going on holidays and doing all the things that we would normally do. But unfortunately, of course, this time things have been slightly different. So we also have the new moon energy itself as well, which is saying a new start is coming. All the new moons are a good time to plant a seed of intention, what it is that you want to grow from this energy, from this Leo energy. What would you like to start? Today is a good day. It's a really potent, powerful day to be doing that. And of course we have Hold Your Vision here as well, with a fixed moon energy, and also having 3 other fixed signs all activated at this time. We've actually got 6 planets in fixed energy at this time, so it is very determined energy to get something done. Very tenacious energy. It can also be very stubborn energy. It can be an energy where we refuse to do anything other than what we want to do, which may not be such a bad thing at this time as well, as long as we're aware that we again aren't doing harm to anybody else in the process. So starting the reading off today is the Golden Tara, which is the Pame Side Hung mantra. But what I found really interesting about this was all this gold really, for me, relates to the solar plexus area, which is the Leo energy as well. The solar, the sun, as I was saying, the sun is the ruler of Leo, so there is that energy, but it's also the heart energy as well. Leo is also heart. It's about having courage of our hearts. So this has come through for me today. I literally am seeing this energy here as this Sirius star energy. Very powerful. All this golden, bright golden light. So it's saying it is Golden Tara as well, which is very interesting. And it's saying, sitting upon a moon sphere within a blossoming lotus, White Tara lowers her right hand in a gesture of supreme giving. Just as this precious lotus rises from the mud to become unsullied in open space, so too does the mind rise through the discord of its own experience. So this can actually also, the lotus flower itself can relate to us as human beings going through all of this like crap that we have to go through in order to kind of grow and learn and experience, and we rise above it. It's the rising above it that's making the difference, and that's what I feel this kind of Sirius energy is adding to at this time. It's kind of reminding us of our spiritual path. And so okay, so the discord of its own experience to blossom in the boundlessness of unconditioned awareness, which again I feel is that Sirius energy, and also very Aquarian energy as well, which is very much activated at this time. This wish-fulfilling goddess embodies the heart of active compassion. Her vision reveals the inseparability of all existence. Meditate upon her presence in your life, and you too shall realize the expanded capacity of the liberated state. And the key word here is prosperity. I'll just let you have a quick look at that. And also about the inseparability as well. It's like the Sirius energy connecting with our sun energy is what's also connecting with us as well, which is why it affects us on a personal level, because it's opening up our solar system to that higher vibrational frequency of pure divine love. So the first card that we have here is Patience, which is also known as Temperance. And today I'm seeing this as, because it's a major arcana card, I'm literally seeing it as a situation. It's like, for me, this is us having gone through what we've gone through over this last almost 2 years, 16, 17, 18 months. of feeling very much alone at times, very much on our own, very much, even though we talk about inseparability, there is also this sense of separateness, having been separated from those around us, our support systems, our family, those we love, those we care about, those who care about us. So that's how it's coming through for me. And also because there's these clocks literally on her as well, it's kind of talking about the passage of time. And because it's in reverse, I also feel as though it's saying that we can't rush things. We can't, it's almost like this is a part of our journey. This has been a part of our experience that we've had to go through. It hasn't been a pleasant experience, but there's been lessons here as well that we've had to learn, even though it has been hard. And it feels as well as though it's kind of like been a long time, like we've really had to learn to be patient. We've kind of been watching the clock, so to speak, and kind of thinking, oh, you know, it's going to be better in this month, and then that month arrives and it's like, oh no, actually it will be in another 3 months or however long. I think you probably get the gist of what I'm trying to say here, because I don't really want to say words that are going to go against my channel, because that is happening on a lot of channels. So I do have to be careful how I express this. But that's what's coming through. And we have over the top of this the 7 of Fire, or the 7 of Wands, which is the challenge at this time. And it does feel literally like being on this precipice. The challenge is to take, it's almost like, for me, this card is very similar to the Fool energy, almost like taking that leap of faith. But with the 7 of Fire as well, it can also be about, we are blocking something here. We're blocking this leap into this new future, which is also what I'm seeing here with this unicorn. It's like he's come to the top of this. And a bit like in the Fool card as well, you can't go back. You can't redo the past. You cannot go back down and expect everything to be the same in a way. And I think that on some level, that's what people are kind of hoping for or thinking is going to happen, that things are going to shift back into this kind of same place that we've just been forced out of. But it's like everything has changed, time has moved on, and nothing is going to be that way. And I'm also seeing these little fireflies here as well, as coming in from, like, I'm not sure if they're messages, but almost like a supporting, it is a supporting energy. It's an energy that is almost like lighting, going to light up the way or make things much clearer. Because there's a sense of kind of hesitating here, because not knowing what the future holds, not knowing what we're going to leap into, we're holding back. But that's what, for me today, these fireflies are coming in as a source of support, of help, of lighting the way. And it's interesting as well because it's the number 7, and in numerology the number 7 relates to spiritual as well. It does relate to change, or it can relate to change, but it can also, because there's a lot of 7s, it's a very mystical number, the number 7, but it also can relate to spiritual kind of awakening as well. So that could also have something to do with this as well, this spiritual awakening, which is very much what is taking place on the planet with all this photon light that is hitting the planet. Not only do we have the photon light hitting the planet, we also at this time have the Sirius light as well. So frequencies, and I don't know if you've been feeling it, but I mean it's coming through in surges and waves of energy that may make you kind of feel that there's something wrong as well in your body. You may be feeling like that things are like lots of energy at once. It's almost like like catching our breath because it's too much. But there is this spiritual awakening, which is how I'm seeing this card coming through today. We have the 3 of fire in our heads, and it is in reverse. So the 3 of fire often talks of, or 3 of rods, 3 of wands. Again, this kind of energy of patience in a traditional sense of things not moving forward. The boat for me always represents life. I always see boats in tarot as representation of life itself carrying us forward. But because it's in reverse, again, there is this sense of being stuck. I feel it very similar to this energy here. This kind of stuckness, not knowing what's coming next, not knowing, as I was saying, how to leap forward, and if we do move forward, what's going to happen in our lives. There is this compass here as well, which also talks to me about direction, not knowing which direction we're going in. And so on some level, it's much easier to not go in any direction. It's easier to just kind of hold back. But it feels like there's this sense at the moment of things just kind of coming to a standstill. Within the kind of global energy itself, it's like collectively we don't know where we're going. Collectively we don't know what's coming next. We don't know what's round the next corner. And it feels as though we may have been kind of moving forward, but now we're kind of stopping. It's kind of like taking another look at something, is how it's coming through. Like taking another look, making sure before we move forward. We have in our past energy what's moving away, the 9 of Cups, or the 9 of Water here, which is often seen as a wish fulfillment energy of yeah, like fulfilling all your hopes, your dreams, your desires coming true. It's a good card, a happiness card, a successful card, an emotional fulfillment card in many ways. You feel good. It makes you feel good, whichever situation this brings you to. But it's in reverse. So again, it's kind of having the opposite feeling here. It's that feeling of everything falling apart, of nothing really coming together, of not being able to see our dreams and our wishes and our desires happening. I was also given the kind of message earlier of like, because it's got lots of diamonds on this card as well. There's one big diamond there, but there's lots of other little diamonds on there as well, of kind of like, almost like, how can I put it, like being offered things that aren't real or aren't what they appear to be, or a sense of like false rewards, shall we say. It's also how it's coming through, like thinking that something is going to be beneficial when actually it's not going to be beneficial. But she's actually holding this key in her hand here as well. You can see that there's this little golden key. And the key, of course, keys unlock things. Keys are all about unlocking what's important. I mean, we lock things away that are important to us. And that can also include our hearts as well. So this could also have something to do with locking our emotions, our emotional happiness away as well. And kind of seeing, like, again, this kind of false happiness. What is true happiness? And what is actually, what do we believe that makes us happy, that maybe doesn't actually make us happy, except just on kind of like more of a superficial level. So it also, there can also be a sense here with this key of kind of locking ourselves down and not allowing ourselves to experience these emotions. And there's also something coming through here about simplicity and finding happiness within the simple things. Underneath and in our subconscious, what we're not so aware of, where this is coming from, we have the Queen of Air. And today I was really drawn to her headdress, and that, especially in the middle, that kind of surge of energy is how it's come through. I'm also seeing this owl as wisdom, very much the wisdom card. She's almost coming through like a grandmother energy, like a wise wisdom that is stored within the female grandmother energy. And these wings here today as well, as I'm seeing it coming through, is almost like us reaching out beyond. It's like beyond the mind. It's like go beyond this, go beyond just that thinking level and take things further out. And it's to do with connecting is how it's coming through. It's to do with realizing that we're not just this physical form, that we have this almighty kind of like energetic form as well. This very powerful energetic form that is what connects with everything around us. And I'm also seeing this bit here as well as being this kind of activation point. And I seem to recall that that also came through, I think, in the previous reading that I did for the Aquarius full moon. I think it was the King of It was in a different deck, and I think it was the King of Pentacles, where there was like, or the Hierophant maybe, where there was like this activation point. It could have been the Hierophant, but I'm seeing that here as well, like this sense of what is happening for us at this time is this awareness. Our awareness is growing to take in more frequencies, more energy as it's coming in. That's how I'm seeing this, as it's coming in. And the snowy white owl there as well is kind of, it's kind of a purer, higher vibrational energy, which again is connecting for me with this kind of Sirius alignment that's happening from the 26th of July up until the 12th of August as well. So it's not just a one-day thing, because they have to kind of slowly come together. Today is the actual alignment day, where the Sun and Sirius are in exact alignment, but it happens over a period of time. So it's kind of opening that door. That's kind of how I'm seeing that, actually. It's coming through now as this kind of opening of that door. But on a deeper subconscious level, we're not really aware is happening. Although, as I was saying, we may get these surges of energy, and we may feel as though there's something affecting us on a physical level, which it is, but we may not necessarily realise that this is what it is and how powerful that energy is as well. But there is a wisdom here as well, because light holds information. Light holds, yeah, information is what I'm being told. And it activates. It's an activating energy. It's an activating cellular, right down to the cellular. And I think she came through as a grandmother for me because of the generational thing as well. There's something to do with the cellular molecular structure, which is passed down from generation to generation to generation, and it's through the female energy, of course, through the women that have given birth, the channels that bring that energy into the physical world in the first place. So we have the Seven of Earth, or the Seven of Pentacles. And again, these feathers, I'm seeing these feathers as being very significant. But what I'm also getting coming through here is this little fairy here. It's kind of pointing. It's almost like she is one of these energies here, one of these little fireflies here. When you get to inspect it closer, it's like, it's almost like saying to me, like messages, like signs on the road, so to speak, to be aware, because she's pointing, and what she's pointing to, it's coming through, I don't know if you can see, like, it's almost like over this ridge here, over this ridge, there's this light that's coming up. And it's almost like you're saying, like just a bit further, you don't have much further to go. This is where you're heading. Just keep going in that direction. It's kind of how it's coming through. And also follow your heart as well, because he's actually got over his heart there. I don't know if you can see that either. But there is like this tattoo of this like a leafy design. And it's right over his heart chakra energy. Might be able to see it better like that. It's not so close up. So that's how it's coming through for me, is this kind of sense of following what feels right. Whereas with this, it's kind of like a false sense of what was good for us. And it's coming through as a sense of lots of stuff, like just lots. We had lots of crap, basically, to choose from. We had, like, you know, we had all of this stuff, all of this how can I put it, like, not just choices, but almost like stuff that we didn't really need. It was, again, that kind of false sense of happiness. But this is saying it is the heart that you need to follow. And this fairy is kind of, for me, pointing that out to us. It's, again, it's to do with following the signs on a vibratory level, like feeling it, really feeling it. If it feels right, then it's right. If it doesn't feel right, then it's not right. Don't let yourself be distracted as well by other people's opinions or ideas. And I'm also getting a sense of remain true to who you are as well, because the Seven of Earth also talks about harvest, about abundance, about reward after the energy that you've put into something. And then we have, where we are at this time, the transformational card, which is also the card of death in other tarot decks, but I really like it in this tarot deck because it's known as transformation, and she's actually holding in her hand, again, I don't know if you can see it, this little it's like a phoenix rising out of the ashes. The rebirth, it's a rebirth, and again it's coming through with this kind of same kind of energy. And there is a trust here as well with this card. Trusting that we are going through this transformation, that everything that we've gone through previously that has brought us to where we are now is absolutely what is supposed to be happening, even though it's very, even though it may be very kind of hard to understand that as well. Maybe why we've kind of taken this pause at this time. But there is this transformational energy, and again it feels like this alignment has got a big part to play in this as well. And also very much the Uranian and Aquarian energy. But this also relates to Pluto. And Pluto is also playing a huge part in everything that is dying and being reborn or transformed. And I did talk about this in my astrology as well. I talk about a connection between Pluto and Neptune. Neptune kind of being the veil between the physical and the spiritual, the mystical, the unknown realm, and Pluto being kind of the transforming energy, the transformer. When Pluto enters the sign, it transforms that energy completely. It goes through a death and it comes out a different energy. And we've had Pluto moving through Capricorn, which is all about the establishment. It's all about things, the towers, shall we say, the ivory towers coming down, and everything that that entails, which is going to affect all of us on some level. Because we also have the Empress energy in reverse here. So this is in our environment. And for me, when the Empress is in reverse, it's like it's coming through with this sense of I'm going to put it almost like not okay, like a lot of upheaval in our physical domain. The Empress is abundance. She's forever, eternally pregnant with ideas and creativity. And if you think of the earth herself, it's forever giving. It's forever recreating itself. It's forever, like, you know, feeding us, taking care of us. Everything we have comes from the Empress energy, or the mother energy, because this is the mother card of the mother. But when it's in reverse, there is kind of a distortion here as well, something not in balance, which also this Patience card can also talk about things being out of balance. Things not working in our favour, and at this time on the planet as well. I mean, there's so much transformation happening, not only to us but also within the earth herself as well. There is so much like not really having taken care, or also not really being grateful or recognizing where all of this abundance comes from. And being very kind of careless about the whole connection that we have with this energy, with this mother energy. Because when her, yeah, again, don't know if you can see it, but when she's upside down, it's like her lips are sealed. It almost feels to me like there's a stop, like something isn't being abundant. There's a blockage. There's a blockage of abundance. And that could be within ourselves as well. Because again, there is no separation. What happens to the earth that we live on will also affect us who live on it as well. So there is this kind of need to wake up and to speak out. Is how it's also coming through here. With the Four of Earth in reverse in our hopes and our fears, I always see this card as the moth to a flame kind of energy here, because she literally has this moth. She's holding out her hands and there's this moth sitting in her hands. And it's coming through today as kind of fearing our own light. And again, because the Four of Pentacles can talk about holding on to something really tightly, holding on to the past, holding on to where we've come from, what's stable for us, or what we believe is stable for us, what gives us that sense of security, even if it is a false sense of security, especially when it's in reverse. But there is also, again, with these feelers coming out here, I'm seeing it in the same kind of light with this energy here and also this energy here. But it's coming through as fearful of our own light. Of not accepting, of just holding on to that little bit and not letting any more in. And I'm also being told something about this Empress energy here as well, to do with history. Again, ancestors, generational, history. That same kind of feminine energy. And what is interesting is that we're finishing the reading with the Emperor also in reverse as well. So for me, there is this real sense of imbalance here between the masculine and the feminine. And the recognition possibly as well that we are both. And that is part of our transformational change, our kind of understanding. Again, there's something to do with the wisdom and the knowledge, and maybe being kept in the dark. There's like, yeah, like a fear. Because I'm also seeing this as well as this kind of Sirius alignment. Where not everybody is going to be open to it. Not everybody is going to feel it or want to have that much light frequency. Because it is also about how much you connect with it. Whether or not you want to connect with it. As to how much you want to bring in to your world, or whether you just want to stick with the little bit that you have, like that bit of vitality and connection to. I'm also seeing this as the matriarchal and the patriarchal energy, again to do with history. And the need for balance, again, is what's coming through. This need for balance, this need for it to neither be one overpowering the other. And again, that sense of recognizing that we need the feminine and we need the masculine. because it is already within both, or both is already within us. There may be within each individual person that may be stronger or appear stronger, not just to do with the physical form either. But there's a definite imbalance here. There's a definite feeling of, until we kind of accept that spirit, when it comes down, or the source energy, light source energy, which we all are, these light bodies, when it comes down and enters into the physical domain, it will be either masculine or feminine. And we can repeat the same energy over and over and over again. And so again, we can become stuck in these ideas. These kind of stereotypical ways of looking at the world. But what we're losing is the real meaning behind these energies. And until we kind of come back into balance with them, we're not going to come back into balance with ourselves. And that there will be this sense of kind of dominant energy. The Emperor, when he's in reverse, is very dominant, very patriarchal, very controlling. Might is right. It's also that Leo energy as well. Number 3 and number 4 together. Again, the number 7 has come through. So that's again, that spiritual realm is kind of how it's coming through, that we're dealing with on this particular reading, it feels like. It also feels as well what am I getting? Again, there's a historic, something historic here. It just feels like a very strong, so even if you look at the two of them, there's kind of like this cut-off point. If I turn it up that way, it would be the lower, like this disconnection from ourselves. Because again, it feels like these lower chakra energies. But because it's in reverse, there's this sense of, it feels and looks like to me like this emptiness. Like there's an emptiness, like something isn't being fulfilled, something isn't being, and again this could come back to this card here as well, it's empty idea of false happiness, false illusional riches, or again, yeah, like what makes us happy, this false sense of feeding our emotional body in this false sense of happiness. And actually kind of ignoring what it is that we need to be aware of. So we have the Hangman, but again he's in reverse. Hangman is about our connection to the higher realms, to see another perspective when it's up that way, when we're hanging upside down. And if you see here as well, he's got all these symbols going all the way down his spine, but it's in reverse. It's come out with this Two of Wands as well, which again I'm just getting this really strong energy of the masculine and the feminine because of the blue. That's actually pink there as well, the blue and the pink, which of course is that very Victorian view of the world. And I have spoken about whole Victorian era before as well, and how they really did kind of ingrain that idea of how a female should be and how a man should be, and gave that whole idea and that image of the weakness of the female and the strength of the man, and also how men weren't allowed to express their weakness or their femininity. And women, of course, had to behave in a certain kind of way, fainting all the time when something was shocking, and kind of just very, very pathetic, for want of a better word. It was kind of like really, really stereotypical period of time of what women were supposed to be like and what men were supposed to be like. And I still say, and I've been saying this for a while, that we are still kind of trying generationally at this time to drag ourselves out of that energy. We still haven't, that whole industrial revolution energy as well. We're still kind of living in that period. And so that's how it's coming through, especially with these two beams of light coming down here as well, representing these two, again, masculine and feminine energies. But also our connection to everything. And of course, when the Hangman is up the right way, that connection is what he's doing. He's connecting with the bigger picture. Also, like releasing, trusting, also feels like letting go of the ego, but not when he's in reverse. That's how it's coming through. It's coming through as when the hangman is, and I'm not just saying for men and women, when the hangman is in reverse, it's almost like having or believing that we have that control over our destiny or over our, it's like we try to do things on our own, and we do it from a separated energy, like just believing that we, very mechanical in a way, very mechanical is what's coming through as well. With this down here, it's like we are that kind of mechanical machine. We are, again, very Victorian way of looking at the world, this mechanical being. We lose the connection with our higher self, is how it's coming through. And we just become very, or we have become very much, as we come down into this physical realm, we have just kind of distanced ourselves, disconnected ourselves from that source energy. Is also how it's coming through here. So we've been trying to get the world to fit round us rather than us fit round the world, is what's coming through. Like masters of the physical domain, but for all the wrong reasons. And we literally have the full energy here as well, which I was talking about earlier with this 7 of fire, and how very similar I find these two cards here, particularly in this deck, with this horse or unicorn as it is standing on this precipice, and the Fool is pretty much a similar energy in the sense of standing, waiting to take that leap of faith. And it's over the top of this 3 here as well, which I was talking about, this kind of halt at this time, like not really knowing where we're going or which direction we're moving in. But the Fool card is saying that this is the new beginning. And as I was saying about going back down that way, like you can't go back and repeat history. You can learn from history. And even though people say, oh, history repeats itself, and on some levels it does, particularly when it comes to planetary alignments and things, you will find there are similarities, but the planets always line up differently. That's the amazing thing about astrology. It's the amazing thing. I mean, it is the language of the universe written in the skies for us to understand. But the Fool here is saying, and it's interesting as well, because if you look at this card, there is nobody actually in there. It's just a mask, which is quite interesting at this time, though it's around the eyes rather than the face. But it's kind of, I mean, he's got the world in his hand here as well. And it is saying that it's time for something new. It's time for a new beginning. It's time to create something with more light, more energy. And he's balanced on that ball as well. So there's a trusting element here. But what I do find interesting is about the fact, you know, that you can only see his hands. There is no actual physical being in there because it's almost like rebirth in a way. It's almost like he is being reborn, recreated. It's a time of new experiences. It's a time of relearning and regrowth and trusting our path, which at this moment is very uncertain in many ways, which is why we have the Three of Fire, Three of Wands energy, just like standing still and not really knowing, as I was saying, which direction we're going in. The Fool is saying we have to trust our connection to this. That's really interesting. Really interesting. We have the Nine of Cups over the top of the Nine of Cups, and they've both come out in reverse. Again, I'm getting that same energy. It's like false happiness, illusional happiness, believing, like the ego happiness in a way. Again, that's a word that keeps coming through at this time. I don't know if that's because Leo is also to do with self-identity, self-empowerment, but it almost feels like a sense of kind of being lulled into a false sense of security in a way of, how can I put it, like rewards. If you do this, you'll get rewarded, but the reward isn't really worth what we've had to do in order to receive that reward. And it almost also feels like kind of being kept subdued. Like trinkets is the word that's coming through here. Like trinkets, like dangling these trinkets in front of us and kind of saying, oh, you know, this will make you happy. If you have this, you will be happy. But it's not made us happy because it hasn't fed our soul. It has only fed our again, I don't really want to use the word ego, but it's fed us on a physical level only. It's like, you know, going out on a weekend and getting incredibly drunk and like feeling like you're having a really good time, and yet at the same time it's not really satisfying. There's something missing. The empty happiness is how it's coming through. A false, again, that false illusionary sense of happiness. So with the Fool in our head, and what we're becoming aware of, I feel as well, is that we know on some level that we need to do something here. We need to change things. We need to start on this new journey of trusting ourselves, our intuition, our inner knowing. And recognizing, again, it's that sense, because there's nothing there. It's like recognizing that the physical form, we are more than just that physical form. We are spiritual consciousness or universal consciousness, source energy in the physical form, here to experience life and the journeys that it takes us on. But that's on a collective level as well, not just on an individual level. So let's see what we have at the... So we have the King of Cups over the Queen of Air. Again, masculine, feminine energy, the mind and the emotions. But this again feels more like higher energy, higher connection energy. But I'm also getting this sense of like our emotions are valuable. On many levels, our emotions are our compass. And maybe that's also got something to do with this as well, because I was talking about this compass. Our emotions are out of alignment. Like we are out of alignment. And because of this, in our hopes and our fears, it's like we do like fear our potential in many ways, that light. So this is emotional and intellectual balance. When the King of Cups is upright, he has that emotional intelligence. He feels, he's intuitive, he's all about the feelings, he's all about that mature, like knowing to trust, knowing that our feelings are valuable, are important. As I was saying, our guiding compass, we are guided by our feelings, we are what we feel. And our feelings become, or our thoughts, our mind, what comes through into our awareness will then affect us on an emotional level as well. So it's kind of saying take notice of your emotions and your thoughts, because your thoughts are going to create that emotional compass. How you feel, what you're vibrating, then goes back out. Your emotions then go back out into the universe, and the frequency that you're at will come back in to again affect you on an emotional level. So there's like a symbiotic energy here. And this is in our subconscious. So this is just what happens. This is who we are. This is what happens all the time, whether we're aware of this or not. We are constantly vibrating our emotions out into the bigger universe, into the field that's out there, the frequency field, and then it comes back in. As I was saying, it comes back in. And interestingly, she's also got this energy here just over her heart here as well. I don't know if you can see that, but there is like this again, it looks like an energetic kind of pattern, a a frequency. So it is about the heart chakra as well. And an understanding of how our thoughts play into our vibrational frequency through our emotions. And interestingly as well, I'm just seeing this as well. What he's wearing here is kind of like a smaller version of what I'm seeing here with her wings. Again, over this third eye placement. This activation. So let's see what we have for the Seven of Earth here. Following the signs, following our hearts, knowing that we deserve more than what we have in the physical realm. It's almost like that fairy is kind of pointing to this light. I see it very strongly, this light over the ridge, over the hill. It kind of feels like it's not that much further to go. But we have the Knight of Coins here as well, in reverse. So the Knight of Coins here is saying to me in reverse that it's not going to be an easy journey. Knight of Coins is very practical, very down to earth, and it's also maybe saying as well that it's not about, because it's in reverse, it's not about being practical and down to earth. It's not about just the physical domain, that we need to kind of rise out of that idea of it just being the physical domain. Knight of Coins is very much focused in the physical domain. So it kind of feels as though he's reminding us on some level that there is more. There is more than just this. Like, because he's very golden. He's sitting in this very golden suit of armour, which is very protective as well. So maybe he's kind of saying on some level that we need to start kind of recognizing more spiritual growth, that's where we're lacking. It's the spiritual growth that we're lacking in. But we're kind of being guided towards it for those that want to go in that direction. Not everybody is going to want to go in that direction, and that's something else the Knight of Coins is saying as well. But not everybody is going to see it, feel it, understand it, be drawn to it. again, because light is information. But those who do will is kind of how this has come through. We've got the transformation card, we've got the chariot energy, and we've got the world. So that's kind of really saying that it is time to move forward, and that we are, that we don't really have any choice, that we are coming out of this like transformational period that we are and have been in for quite some time. Things are changing on a deep, deep evolutionary scale at this time, cellular scale, cellular level. And that the generations that are going to come through, if they get the chance, which maybe this has also got something to do with the female and the male being in reverse as well, that they will have like this higher frequency energy, because the parents will have gone through this higher frequency vibrational change on a cellular level within their DNA. So things are already changing for the generations that are coming in. And maybe that's also what this is about here. So the Chariot also talks about it's similar to this in some ways. It is about the balance again of the masculine and the feminine, the mind and the emotions, which kind of relates again to this energy, with the female energy being the emotional, receptive, nurturing energy, and the masculine being the more active, doing. But in order, again, it's like for the creation to happen, for the two, there has to be balance for all creation. But we also have the world, which we have this Fool energy again here. And the Fool is sitting on top of the world here. In this one, he's kind of holding it in his hands in this card. So we have, interestingly, the first card and the last card of the tarot here. The Fool has no number. He is the 0. He is the eternal cycle in that respect. The return back to the world as this physical being who has a journey, experience to grow and learn from. And the World card itself is the very end of the cycle, having gone through all the experiences. We reach that end of that cycle, which again is where we are heading. I speak about this Piscean age that is coming to a close and the Aquarian energy that is coming in. Well, that's very much how I'm seeing this at this time. And around this world here, we've got all the elements as well, because it's kind of saying that without all these elements, there would be imbalance in the world as well. And it also looks like a porthole as well for some reason. It's looking like or down, looking down the end of a telescope, or like looking into the future. Like knowing that the door is closing behind us on some level, that this transformation is taking place. On this deep cellular level, we are rising out of the ashes, the phoenix that is rising. And so the Chariot is pushing us forward. It's taken us on this journey. Chariot is also about being self-empowered. It is being in control of our emotions, of our thoughts, but also of our world, of our own world. Being in the driving seat of our own life. Because we are moving into this new beginning. The Queen of Air, of course, is also very Aquarian energy. As well as Libra and Gemini. But I feel at the moment she's representing that Aquarian energy, the Queen of Air, the higher consciousness energy, the connection with that divine source, which is that Uranian energy, which is changing things. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, wow. So we have the Empress on top of the Empress in reverse again. So there is a big message here. And again, that message feels as though it is to do with lack of understanding of this energy. Lack of, it's almost like the feminine energy is being denied and not given its place. And I have spoken about this before. But it's also being, because here we see she's carrying this baby. And she's carrying it in a way that she understands it's like the sacredness of this. Like how pure this being is that's just entered the earthly realm through the female form. Because like it or not, it is only women who can give birth. Biologically, that is how we are designed. But there are certain forces who would much rather this didn't happen. Who would like to control all of this. And to keep us in the dark about our history. And it just feels very much as though the kind of like the female energy is not only neglected, but it's abused and it's not valued, it's undervalued. The mother energy isn't valued. It's no longer given the importance that it should be. And again, it's that balance, that imbalance, that sense of imbalance. And the earth itself is in imbalance. I mean, at the moment there's fires happening in Greece and Turkey and Russia, and then you got floods in China and Germany and Bulgaria, and or is it Belgium? And Belgium, possibly Bulgaria as well, I don't know, but also like the Netherlands. And it's like the balance on the earth herself is so distorted at this time. And the way that we grow our food is distorted and out of balance. The way that we would you believe it? It's not over the top of the Emperor. It is over the top of this Four of Wands, coins, pentacles here. Four of Earth. But that is both of those energies that come out twice. I mean, that is just... what can I say? The message is strong. The message is strong. So there is also a strong sense, as I was talking about this with our hopes and fears, and that this is our fear of our light, fear of our connection to source energy, which we have been kind of kept in the dark and controlled. And the Emperor energy, again, as I was saying, when it's in reverse, it is that patriarchal, very controlling, very masculine driven, very action orientated, very doing, very physical. And getting a similar kind of vibe from this as well, this disconnection from that higher realm. And so this energy has, if you like, kind of controlled our world for a long time. It has been the controlling factor. That has kind of, you know, brute force. Again, history. There's a sense of history here as well. Particularly with this card here as well, because I do see this one as kind of, you know, that metropolis, those cities. It's all very masculine energy. Cities are very grey, they're very dense, they're very, they lack vitality, they lack life, they lack nature, unless it's controlled. It has to be controlled, and that's what I feel the message is here, that it has to be controlled. That the dominant energy needs to control. In order to stop us from finding our light, finding our connection. Because this came out over the top of this card here. And there is a similar look to these two cards as well in some ways. Because this is also about light. It's very lit up. Just notice these wings as well on his shoulders, which are very similar. These wings here, again, very similar to those wings that are coming out of her head. But this is like, these wings are on his shoulders, so this is more to do with strength, it feels like, more to do with if you look at his arms, kind of very muscly, very muscular, very powerful looking, very dominant looking, domineering looking. The whole thing has a kind of strength, but it's in reverse. So again, there's this sense of it being like keeping things hidden, like hiding, like in a forceful way as well. Hiding our real connection, hiding our history, hiding exactly what it is that's, because it's kind of the Four of Coins is also, as I was saying, about kind of staying stuck. It's stagnant energy. And for me, it's because we have this kind of fear of our own light. And also because we've become very dependent as well. We've become very dependent on those in power. So breaking free from the idea of that is quite a scary prospect, quite a fearful prospect. Also the Four of Earth, it can also be seen as, well, for this card in particular, it's like the moth. The moth is always attracted to a flame, it's always attracted to light. It will always buzz around the light. So in reverse, it almost, with this Emperor energy as well, it's almost like that kind of being attracted to something like in a false sense, again, that false light, that what appears to be a light but actually isn't, because if you look closer you can see that it's actually it looks more like lines of a cage in a way, or a vow, like a blind. So it's having been attracted to the light, or what we believed to have been the light. Actually, it's coming through as like a false light. It's like being attracted to the lights rather than the sun. Like believing that we can live off of electricity alone rather than having sunlight, which actually is good for our bodies, and whereas electric light is not as healthy. So it's that kind of, that's how it kind of feels. And we're ending, interestingly enough, with the Three of Wands, which we also have here in our heads and what we're aware of. But here, it's interesting because that sun, that's coming through like a sun, like these rays of light. It's like seeing the light, literally. I know the Three of Wands is supposed to be about patience, waiting for your ships to come in. I don't necessarily see the Three of Wands like that. It can be about not leaping into something because of that need for patience, waiting for things to change or the right time. But for me, again, it's going back to, for me, the boat always represents life, the journey of life. And if you see there, he's naked. He has nothing on at all, which kind of represents a sense of nothing to hide. Trusting. And trusting in this higher, because it's coming through as this really bright light. Trusting in this higher energy, trusting in this, that our story, if you like, our story of this ship here, life, is on a new trajectory. It's like it's taking a new turn because it's upright rather than in reverse. It's kind of with this Chariot energy as well. It's kind of saying that it is taking this new direction, new trajectory. Boats are coming in the sense of life is changing. And it's up to us whether or not we want to be a part of that journey. Or whether we want to continue to... It feels also like moving away from this energy, particularly as it's a naked human that's sitting on the dock there. It's kind of saying to me that this has been tried and it hasn't succeeded. So we are taking a new trajectory. But again, it's timing. It is like divine timing. It's like I'm literally seeing it as though it's kind of coming out of the sky, in the sense that it's written in the stars in a way. That you can't make something happen again until the time is right. So that's also why we're kind of in this pause energy at the moment. On a bigger kind of galactic scale, shall we say, on a bigger trajectory of where we're heading, we've had to take this kind of new direction, this new leap of faith. I'm just going to pull another card to see what comes out with that Three of Wands. But it's like something is emerging out of the depths, shall we say. Something is emerging, something new, something that we haven't experienced before, a new journey. And sometimes we have to take a risk. A risk can be that leap of faith, moving away from where we have been, the energy that we've been in. So we have the 8 card, which is the Strength card. Again, it's that masculine, feminine imbalance. Is how that's coming through for me. Things being out of balance that need to be brought into balance. And no longer coming from this very dominant, masculine driven only type of energy. So I'm finding our inner strength, finding that sense of going back to that masculine and feminine energy again. It's kind of realizing that this is just as important as this energy here. And again, without both, there is nothing. And it is being distorted. It is being deliberately kind of imbalanced, engineered. Into this sense of, because when the Strength card is in reverse, it does talk about like feeling weak, feeling like our own strength is being used against us. So I'm going to quickly pull one of these Wild Offering cards to see what the advice for us at this time is. A lot of the reading really does seem to revolve around the idea of the masculine and feminine energies not being balanced at this time. So So what do we have? We have direction and despair. So I'm going to read despair first. And it says, I need your divine intercession right now. O great spirit, lift this darkness from my soul. Free me from this burden. Open me to your highest plan. May I be a peaceful vessel for your love. Which could also be this energy as well, like opening ourselves up to as I was saying as well, like this darkness, this like being afraid of our light, and being this deep sense of despair, of not of feeling as though we don't have that strength to maybe overcome this. But we do have another card which came out with it, which is direction. And it says, Lord, please show me the right action right now. Please bring a sign and a miracle that gives clear direction. So I was talking about earlier, these signs, knowing the signs, following your heart. May I hear the promptings of my own body. And if for some reason I'm about to head the wrong way, please stop me. The physical, the body. And this could be talking about something in particular. That is being forced on us at this time, and feeling like we don't have the strength, the inner strength. And in fact, we do. This is all about self-empowerment. This is all about bringing ourselves back into that position of taking control of our lives and not giving it away to these controlling energies. So I pulled this card earlier, which for me looks so much like the Sirius energy. It is Rahu HaKodesh, and this is taken from the Angel script. And so I'm just going to quickly read. It says, the Holy Spirit is an empty room where all is silent, perfect and complete. It is an abyss into which we step in faith, knowing that the divine seeks only what is good for us. This room is veiled with a cloud of unknowing, but when we surrender to its oblivion, we shall know even as we are known. In the arms of the Holy Spirit, we abandon our daily selves and meet with our own greater self, in order that we may live our lives truly according to the desire of the guiding principle of the true self. Often this loss will be accompanied by a great sadness. It may come after a great struggle during which we feel we are fighting to survive, to keep our sense of purpose and direction. But when the self abandons itself to the love of the Holy Spirit, what seems a loss becomes a prize beyond calculation, a golden gift of bliss and pure joy. After a time of darkness comes the light of the divine. That's what I felt that is as well. It is this kind of hiding from our own light, being kept in the dark. And it is in our hopes and our fears. It's almost like we do know that there is more. When we step into the room which beckons, we enter the great mystery. We move forward without maps or directions into unknown territory. We give up all our intellectual desires. There's that stepping into the room, if you like, with maps, no compass. We give up all our intellectual desires for understanding and explaining, and allow ourselves to fall into a no space, a void, in which rational considerations have no place. We can never know the Holy Spirit with our usual thinking minds, only with our innermost being. Yeah, I feel that this is these energies here. When we move into this space, we are coming home. Our souls meet with the Holy of Holies and are dipped in the divine light, which is this divine light here, which is also the Sirius energy as well. So it's kind of a reminder, if you like, that this is all connected, that everything that we're going through at this time is connected to finding this light within us, to connecting with this light that is already within us. We just need to remember and connect ourselves back in. It's almost like replugging ourselves is how it feels, plugging ourselves back in. So I'm going to leave the reading there and say thank you very much for being here, for listening to me. I hope that it has helped or made some sense, or you've learned something from it, benefited from it in some way. Please, if you have, again, could you thumbs it up for me? The more likes it gets, the more it helps grow my channel. Subscribe if you want to. There is a subscribe button there for you to do so. There is also a playlist. I do all the full new moon tarot and astrology and all the zodiac signs there as well. So if there's anything there that jumps out at you and it resonates with you at this time, then take it for yourself as you're reading. And so I'm going to say thank you very much again. The time is moving on. I didn't expect it to be this long, but sometimes these things happen. I get caught up in the message, shall we say. So take really good care of yourselves. I hope you have a wonderful Lionsgate vibrational frequency field activation at this time, and the Leo new moon energy as well, and hopefully I will see you again soon.